Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, August the 29th. We're back with some NBA action. We had a couple days without NBA. Games got postponed, canceled, boycotted, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really going to talk about, why the games got canceled. I don't really want to bring that up on this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel's, for DFS to talk about sports. I don't really want to bring politics, all that stuff into this. So we're here to break down these three games. These are the three games we were supposed to have on Wednesday. We got the same three games. It's pretty much, Wednesday slate. We're pretty much just playing it today. Honestly, you could just go back and watch Wednesday's video, and that's pretty much going to be like this video over again. We do have a little bit, different things, though. The salaries are a bit different. We do also know that Russell Westbrook is confirmed going to play today. So that's news we have. Like I said, salaries are a bit different. They're definitely different on Yahoo. They definitely made the pricing, a little bit softer. CJ McCollum, one guy that comes to mind, was $36 on Wednesday, and now he's just $32 today. We have this situation here, Portland facing the Lakers. Lakers big favorites, Portland without Damian Lillard. I still, I talked about the Portland guys in Wednesday's video. I still am going to like them a lot again today. We'll definitely be sure to break all that down as we do go through each position. But before we do get started, guys, as always, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new here, I do upload NBA videos every single day to this YouTube channel. Obviously, I didn't have any videos up the last few days, but that was mainly due to there being no NBA games. Now that the NBA is back, I'm going to be uploading NBA videos every single day. I think we're going to have 3 games today. I think we're going to have 3 games tomorrow, and then we're going to have at least 2 or 3 games for the next couple of days, depending on how late or how long these series last. I know if Milwaukee wins today, that series is over. If the Lakers win, that series is over. But OKC Houston, they're still going to go at least 2 more games. Right now they're tied 2-2. So yeah, we'll break down these 3 games. We'll start off at point guard like we always do. Just one more thing, guys, before we do get started. I do have more content available on Patreon. If you are new here and you've never checked out my Patreon, that is linked down below in the description. If you do really enjoy these YouTube videos and you want to get more content from me, you can check out the Patreon, link down below, see all that I have to offer over there. But let's go ahead and take a look at point guard. Start off at the top. So we have James Harden for 11,400. James Harden, someone I've been playing a lot during the playoffs, obviously because Russell Westbrook has been out. Now that Russell Westbrook is going to play today, I don't think James Harden's someone I'm going to be jamming in my lineups. His price came down a little bit. He was 11,700 on the last slate. He's just 11,400 today. Harden is still playable for sure. He's not a fade for me. I just don't think he's going to be a guy that a guy that I'm going to jam in 50, 60, 70% of my lineups like I have been doing the last few slates. He's not going to be someone that I force in now because Westbrook's going to play. Westbrook is going to be on a minutes limit. They've already said he's going to be on a minutes limit. But still, Westbrook's a high-usage player. Obviously, he's going to take usage away from Harden. I don't expect Harden to be as productive as he has been, especially, last game, putting up over 70 Draftkings points. You're more likely going to get 50 to 60 from Harden today with Westbrook playing, which, is still good, but at 11,400, I'm looking for about 70-plus DK points. Obviously, Harden has that upside. He can go for over 70 even with Westbrook healthy. I just don't think I have to pay, that price tag for him. Then we do have LeBron for 10,800. LeBron's definitely someone you could pay up for here. I've never had a problem with LeBron during this series. He hasn't been a core play for me at all, during this series. I haven't really played him a ton. He hasn't been that popular either. He's kind of been lower owned compared to some of the other studs. He's had 3 pretty solid games and then 1 really disappointing game in game 2 where, the Lakers really just did their job, played great defense, won that game by over 30 points. LeBron only had 29 DK points in game 2. But in game 1, game 3, and game 4, 73, 68, 57 Draftkings points. Even in a big blowout last game where he only played 28 minutes, still got 57 Draftkings points. LeBron's someone you could definitely pay up for. I think I do prefer Anthony Davis, especially because there's a lot of guards I like in the mid-range, and there's some guard value as well. Whereas forward, not as loaded with mid-range and value plays. I think forward is a position, especially power forward, I want to try and pay up for either Giannis or AD. So LeBron, you can go to him. I just don't know if he's going to be a core play for me. There's some blowout concern here, but, LeBron showed even in limited minutes, 26, 28 minutes, he can still go for 55, 60, 65 Draftkings points. So I don't mind him. Just don't think he's going to be a guy that I jam in today. Then we have Westbrook. So Westbrook, I'm not really sure what to make of here. He's expected to play. We don't know how many minutes he's going to play today. They've already said they're going to limit his minutes. I don't know if that means, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 34 minutes. Like if Westbrook was fully healthy, I would expect he probably plays about 40 minutes in a playoff game. But obviously, he's not fully healthy. It's his first game back. Well, he is fully healthy. It's just his first game back, so maybe they want to take it a little bit easy on him. I mean, it hasn't been a while. Like, he's only missed a couple weeks of games. He did play during the bubble, if you guys don't remember. He played a few games during the bubble before he got hurt. The last game he played was on August 11th, so it's been about 2 weeks since he's played in an NBA game. I think Westbrook probably plays 30, 32 minutes if I had to guess. At $9,900, I mean, his price is expensive. I don't think I can play him at that price. If I was going to play him, I think it would probably be on Yahoo where he's $43. Normally we see Westbrook priced about $48, $50, upper 40s. They dropped his price down to 43. I think that is a pretty appealing price tag for Westbrook. You want about 50 fantasy points from him to be a good play at that price. And even in 32 minutes, Westbrook can easily get 50 fantasy points. So I don't mind him today on Yahoo at $43. I don't think I'm going to be playing him on Draftkings. If we get news that he's only going to play like mid-20s in minutes, then I definitely would back off of him on both sides. But if we can get 30, 32 minutes from Westbrook, I think it is Yahoo salary. He could definitely be in play. But then we got these mid-range options that I really like. These OKC guards, the Portland team we're going to talk about. So we'll start off with Portland. CJ McCollum was someone I talked about, last video. Obviously that game never happened, but McCollum was someone I liked a lot on Wednesday. I'm going to like him again here. Nothing's changed. I know there's some blowout concern here against the Lakers, but without Damian Lillard, I expect CJ McCollum just to get all the usage, to get all the opportunity. The only concern here is the blowout, but if it stays close, man, CJ McCollum's going to play probably 38 to 40 minutes if it's a close game. I know Portland, they really have no chance of winning this series. I think it's pretty impossible for them to win 3 straight games against the Lakers. But maybe they keep this game close enough to where McCollum plays in the fourth quarter, and that's really all we need. I don't care if Portland wins this game. I'm a Lakers fan, so I honestly don't want Portland to win. But I want them to keep the game close enough so that CJ McCollum is going to be out there in the fourth quarter and going to be, getting fantasy points for my team. So I like CJ McCollum here. I'm not going to get scared off with the blowout. He's someone I definitely want to pay up for. $8,100 on DK. Looking at Yahoo, $32 over there. They actually bumped his price down a little bit. I still like CJ McCollum a lot here. Without Lillard, I expect the usage to be there, the opportunity to be there. As long as the game stays close, he's going to play big minutes. So he's my favorite guy in that mid-range. Chris Paul's a fine play as well at $8,100, but I think I do prefer McCollum at the same price tag. SGA I do like quite a bit, though. SGA's just been really good for OKC. Been getting big minutes, too. 37, 48, 44 minutes the last 3 games. This series is tied 2-2. It's anybody's game right now. I expect SGA to probably play over 40 minutes if this game stays close. He's a guy that, normally gives you over a fantasy point per minute. If he plays like 40, 42 minutes, which I think he will, he projects for like 45 DraftKings points, which is a pretty good projection for his price tag of $7,400. His price really hasn't moved either, due to the really good play. Last 3 games, 44, 51, 44 DK points. And it's not like he's 8K today. I mean, he's still just $7,400. I think I do prefer SGA over Chris Paul, given the savings and just given how well SGA has played. And we can definitely fit him in. There is some value from Portland that we'll talk about. So I do like SGA a lot. I think Dennis Schroeder is fine as well. He's probably going to play 32 to 34 minutes off the bench. Been really productive the last few games. Schroeder's going to be out there in the closing lineup. When the game is close and down to the wire, Schroeder's going to be on the floor. So I'm not really worried about him coming off the bench. He always plays big minutes, even off the bench. He's a guy that I do like as well at $6,400. I think when you factor in price and factor in, the 3 OKC guys, Paul, Schroeder, and SGA, I think I'd rank them SGA number 1, Schroeder number 2, and then Paul number 3. I like all 3 guys, but I think that's how I would rank them if I had to, if I could only play one of the 3, SGA would be my favorite. But then we get down to some of the value plays here. So Markelle Fultz, DJ Augustin, these are 2 guys I haven't been able to get right at all so far in the series. When I play Fultz, he sucks. When I play Augustin, he sucks. When I play both of them, they both suck. When I play none of them, they go off. I just can't seem to get these guys right. Honestly, on this slate, I don't think I'm really going to be playing either one too heavily. If I had to pick one, I think it would be DJ Augustin. I think with him coming off a bad game last time out and Fultz actually playing pretty well, Fultz will probably get the more ownership between the 2. I usually just want to play the lower owned guy, especially when they're similarly priced. We saw at the beginning of the series, Fultz was like 4,200. That's when I was playing him, and he actually was, doing pretty well for his salary. Now that he's over 5K, I'll probably be hopping off the Fultz bandwagon. Not going to be on him today. Augustine, I don't mind at 4,800. He's going to play probably mid to upper 20s in minutes. He's a pretty productive player. Aaron Gordon's not going to be out there. Jonathan Isaac's still out. The usage and the opportunity should be there for Augustine. Just need the Magic to keep this game close. That's really all we need with these Magic guys. Like, if this game blows out, these Magic guys are going to probably disappoint for their salaries. But if it does stay close, they are pretty cheap. I could definitely see a situation where a lot of these guys pay off their price tags if they play in the fourth quarter. So I don't mind Augustine. I do like him on Yahoo. He's pretty cheap over here. Fultz coming in at $18, whereas Augustine is just $11. I think Augustine definitely looks appealing on Yahoo. But Anthony Simons, that's the guy that I want to talk about. So I liked him a lot Wednesday. Obviously that game didn't happen. I'm going to like him a lot again today. Nothing's changed. His price tag didn't change either. He was 4K on Wednesday. He's still 4K today. Like I said in Wednesday's video, without Damian Lillard, I am expecting either Anthony Simons or Gary Trent to start. It's most likely going to be Simons, but even if Trent starts, Simons should still get run off the bench. He played 25 minutes last game in the game that Lillard got hurt and also a game that blew out. I think with Lillard now out, Lillard was playing like 40 minutes a night. I think a large majority of those minutes are going to go to Anthony Simons, and then some of those minutes will also go to Gary Trent. Those are the two guys I think benefit the most in terms of minutes, and then obviously CJ McCollum, Carmelo, those guys are going to benefit in terms of usage. They're going to see more usage with Damian Lillard off the floor. But Simons is a guy I like a lot for value. He's really cheap on both sides. He's 4K on Draftkings. On Yahoo, he was actually pretty expensive. On Wednesday, he was $16, but for some reason today, they decided to move him back down to minimum salary. Hard to get away from Simons at his Yahoo salary. $10. Very likely that he pays off that price tag, given he's most likely going to play, over 30 minutes with Lillard off the floor. He's not a great fantasy point per minute player, but the opportunity is going to be there, and he's still cheap. And honestly, I think if this game does blow out, that's obviously going to suck because I'm going to be pretty heavy on these Portland guys. But even if the game blows out, I think there's a good chance you see Simons still play in a blowout because, he's a younger guy. He played in the blowout last game, so I do like him a lot as a 4K value play. He's probably the top value on the slate in my opinion. Moving on to shooting guard now. So at shooting guard, I've been pretty heavy on these Houston guys like Eric Gordon. I've played a lot. Daniel House, we'll talk about him. I'm probably going to be off these guys with their price tags up and with Russell Westbrook coming back. I don't want to pay $6,100 for Eric Gordon. He definitely takes a hit with Westbrook back. If I'm going to pay up at shooting guard, I think Schroeder looks pretty good. You can play SGA here. You can play McCollum here. I think Simons is shooting guard eligible as well. There really isn't much of this position that I haven't already talked about. You do have the Orlando guys, Fournier and Ross, that you could go to. Again, I don't think these guys are going to be core plays for me, but if you want to sprinkle them in, I have no problems with that. Fournier and Ross are both going to play over 30 minutes as long as the game is close. Between the two, I feel a little bit better about Fournier just because he starts and usually plays a few more minutes than Ross, but I think both guys are fine. Gary Trent, I do like a lot. $4,800 on DraftKings, that is a pretty expensive price tag, but I still do have some interest in him. Yahoo, though, I think that's where Trent looks really good. Like Anthony Simons, you got Gary Trent also coming in at minimum salary. A lot of my lineups, I'm going to have all three of these Portland guys in my lineups. They're just so cheap. McCollum easily can give you 50-plus fantasy points here if the game stays close. These value guys, Simons and Trent, can easily go for 25, 30 fantasy points as long as the game stays close. They look really good at their Yahoo salaries. Like I said, I'm going to have these three guys in a lot of my Yahoo lineups. I'm probably going to have like 3 to 4 Blazers in almost every lineup I make on Yahoo. Just really hard to get away from them with all the usage they're going to get without Damian Lillard, with the minutes they should play. Like I said, just got to hope the game stays close. If it stays close, I think you're going to see at least 2, 3, maybe 4 Blazers in the winning GPP lineup on Saturday night slate. This is definitely going to be a game that really decides my slate. If this game stays close, I have a feeling I'll do pretty well Saturday. If the game blows out and these guys only play like 25 minutes, then I'm just going to take the L and move on to Sunday's slate. But I really like these Portland guys. I like Trent. I like McCollum. I like Simons. Simons and Trent look really good on Yahoo. Simons looks really good on DK as well. Trent, not as good on DK, but 4,800, I still expect him to play over 30 minutes. He was already getting about 30 minutes off the bench. You would have to assume that those minutes increase now that Lillard's out. Trent, very similar to Simons, not a great point per minute player, but without Damian Lillard, you're taking your highest usage player, your number one scorer off the floor. Somebody else is going to have to score besides CJ McCollum. I think Gary Trent, we see him put up a pretty solid game. I don't mind him on DK, but really like him on Yahoo where he's just $10. So I think we covered shooting guard. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward now. So at this position, you can pay it for LeBron here if you want to do that. No problems there. Chris Middleton, not really going to be on him. I haven't played Chris Middleton really at all in this series. He's just too expensive in my opinion. Really hasn't done anything. Gallo in the mid-range, I don't mind. Recently I've been playing Gordon over Gallo, but I think I actually prefer Gallo over Gordon today just because Gallo, we know, going to get 30, 32 minutes. About a fantasy point per minute player or close to it. Eric Gordon, still should play about 30, 32 minutes, but he's going to see his usage and production take a hit now that Russell Westbrook is back. So I'm going to be off Eric Gordon. I'm not a big fan of him today. Gallo, I have interest in. Melo, I like as well. 5,900 on DK. He's had 2 really bad games and then 2 really good games in this series. If this game stays close, I think we get a pretty good game from Melo. He's going to get more usage without Lillard, going to get more opportunities to shoot. We know Melo is not afraid to shoot. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's looking to score. He's not looking to pass the ball. So I like Melo quite a bit at 5,900. I think he does look like one of the better small forward plays in the mid-range. If you are going to the mid-range, he's the guy that I like most. I do prefer him over Gordon, Covington, Kuzma. Given the savings, I think I prefer him over Gallo as well. Daniel House, I don't mind him at 5,100. I think with Westbrook coming back, that is a slight bump down to House, but it's not as big of a bump down to House as it is to Gordon. Gordon definitely takes a hit with Westbrook back. Gordon will most likely, come off the bench now, whereas Daniel House is still going to start and probably play, 36, 38 minutes. I expect he, loses a little bit of usage, loses a little bit of, scoring opportunities. I don't know if we're going to see House take 15 shots a game like he has been. But still, he can rebound pretty well. We know Houston plays small, so that's going to allow a guy like Daniel House to get out there and grab rebounds. You're not going to have a big center out there for Houston grabbing boards. I still do have interest in House. If I was going to play one of Gordon or House, especially because House is cheaper, I would much rather play Daniel House over Gordon. Still, I don't know if House is going to be like a core play for me, especially if he's going to get a lot of ownership. He's actually been playing really well, been performing pretty well for his salary. With Westbrook coming back, I think if I can get the salary, get up to Melo, I would probably rather play Melo over House. But House is fine to go to. I think I would prefer House over Kuzma and Ross. Probably would prefer him over Gary Trent as well, given the DraftKings salaries. But then you got James Ennis, going to play 30, 32 minutes if it's a close game. Not a great point per minute player, but the minutes should be there. I don't mind him. Same with Lou Dort. Dort's been needed here in this series to defend James Harden. They're going to need him even more now that Harden and Westbrook are both back. He's going to be needed defensively against those two guys. I think we get, 34 to 36 minutes from Dort as long as this game stays close. Again, he's not a great point per minute player, but the minutes are going to be there, and he's still pretty cheap. So you could go to him at 4,200. But I think that's it for small forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the power forward position now. So at the top here, we got Giannis and AD. I think these are 2 of my favorite studs on the slate. I do prefer these 2 guys over Harden and over LeBron. Giannis at 11-3, great play here. Against the Magic, there's obviously concerns that this game could maybe blow out and Giannis only plays 28 to 30 minutes. But this guy's just such a productive player on a point per minute basis that even in 28 to 30 minutes, he can give you 60 to 65 DraftKings points. Like I said in Wednesday's video, he's been as consistent as it gets in this series. 65, 59, 66, 64 DraftKings points. Really just giving you what you need at his price tag. He hasn't broken a slate yet and gone for 80. But we know Giannis does have that upside, especially if this game is close down to the wire. Giannis will probably play 33, 34 minutes if it is a close game. If it blows out, he might only play 28 to 30. But still, even in a blowout, Giannis, if the game does blow out, it's a very good possibility that Giannis is the reason why, and he's already gone off and paid off his salary. So I like Giannis quite a bit. I think I do prefer AD though for a bit cheaper. AD coming in at 10.5 on DraftKings, $800 less than Giannis. On Yahoo, you got AD coming in at 51, whereas Giannis is 56. Right now, Giannis is listed out on Yahoo, but that's just because their game got canceled last time, so Giannis was technically out, but he's going to play today. I'm sure they'll update that tomorrow. I am recording this video on a Friday night, so they really haven't updated everything. Giannis is playing today. Don't look at the out symbol. But AD here, he's listed as questionable, but AD's listed. He's actually probable. He's probable every game. He's going to play today. I like him a lot at 10,500. He's been so good in this series. Even last game, he only put up 37 DraftKings points, but he put up 37 DK points in 18 minutes. He didn't play at all in the second half because of an injury. They really didn't need him either because, they won that game by 20 points. I think they were up like 30 points heading into the second half. AD was on pace to absolutely smash in that game. He was on pace for like 70 DraftKings points. Obviously, there's some blowout concern today. No Lillard, big spread here. This game could be over by halftime, but if it does stay close, man, there is so much upside for these Portland guys, so much upside for the Lakers guys as well. I mean, we've seen in close games so far in the series, you're getting, massive games from LeBron and AD. Game 3, LeBron had like 70, AD had 65. Game 1, where it was a close game, I think, AD had 52, which isn't great, but LeBron had like 70. I mean, if the game stays close, you're going to get about 36, 38 minutes from both LeBron and AD. I think I do prefer AD just because I want to try and pay up at the power forward position. Power forward, there's just not as many good options, whereas guard, you have McCollum, SGA, Simons, Trent. You've got so many plays there. Schroeder, Chris Paul, like guys we've talked about. Whereas forward, there's a couple of guys I like, but not as many standout plays at the forward position. So, like I said, I want to try and pay up here. I like Giannis a lot. I like AD a lot. AD's the guy I do prefer though. Definitely one of my favorite studs on the slate. And then you got Nurkic. Nurkic, someone I do like here quite a bit. 8,600 on DraftKings. He's pretty expensive. Hasn't been great in this series, but I think he gets a big boost here without Damian Lillard. Nurkic is a high-usage player, so getting another high-usage player off the floor is going to allow someone like Nurkic to soak up more usage. Like I said, he's expensive on DK. If you can get to him, I don't mind it at all. But on Yahoo, I think that's where Nurkic looks really good. He's coming in at $30 at center. He's $10 cheaper than Vucevic. I think Nurkic could easily outscore Vuce today, and he's way cheaper. So definitely give me Nurkic at $30. When you compare his price to like other guys on Yahoo, I mean, SGA I like a ton, but he's the same price as SGA. I think between SGA or Nurkic, I'd rather play Nurkic. Nurkic is only $2 more than Middleton. Like, give me Nurkic all day over Middleton for just $2 more. I love Nurkic here at his Yahoo salary, and I think even at his DK salary, he looks like a really good play. I mean, he's going to get more usage. He's going to play big minutes if it's a close game. Nurkic hasn't been great in this series, but he was pretty decent last game. In 27 minutes, still put up 43 DraftKings points. This is a guy that can go out there and double-double, can get you 5-6 assists, can get defensive stats as well. We've seen Nurkic go for 50, 55 DraftKings points. Without Lillard, he's going to be able to soak up more usage, get more opportunity, just do more offensively. So I like Nurkic a lot at the top of the power forward position. Like I said, this is just a position I like the top plays. So that's where I want to try and spend my salary today, is at the top of the position. In the mid-range, though, you've got guys we've talked about. Melo, I like quite a bit. Daniel House as well. Gary Clark, if you want to go to him, I have no problems with him. Aaron Gordon's going to be out, so Gary Clark going to start for Aaron Gordon and most likely play about 30 to 32 minutes. Clark, another guy that's not a great point-per-minute player, but the minutes should be there as long as the game stays close. I think between him or Ennis, I would rather play Gary Clark for 4,200. But that's it for power forward. Let's go ahead and hit on the center position real quick before we end the video. So you do have Vooch at the top for 9,200. Vooch, I said this last video, I haven't played him at all in this series. He's had 2, maybe 3 pretty good games if you count 50 DraftKings points. I would say he's had 2 really good games in this series. In Game 1, 62 DK points. Last game in Game 4, 63 DK points. Was really disappointing in Game 3 with just 32, and then in Game 2 he had 50. Vooch is getting all the opportunity in the world right now. I mean, he's going to play 36 to 38 minutes if it's a close game. Without Aaron Gordon, without Jonathan Isaac, Vooch is going to get a ton of usage, going to get a ton of opportunity. I just don't know if I want to pay for him on this slate. I think I would rather play AD. I would rather play Giannis. I know those guys are more expensive, and Vooch has honestly been outscoring them. He's outscored them twice so far. I mean, Vooch does have 60-point upside. I just don't know if he's a guy I really want to try and jam in. I haven't played him much. I don't think I'm going to be on him today. There's just other guys I'd rather play. Like, when you look at the other positions, I think I'd rather play CJ McCollum for cheaper, for $1,000 less, who can easily outscore Vooch today, in my opinion, as long as that game stays close. So I think if I'm paying up at center, Nurkic is the guy that I like most. In the mid-range, there's a lot of viable plays here. Jeff Green going to come off the bench and play over 30 minutes. He's done that every game so far. Westbrook coming back, could take a little bit of a hit from Jeff Green, but this is still a guy that should get the minutes, should get the opportunity. Maybe he doesn't take 15 shots a game now. Maybe he only takes 8 or 9 shots. But if he's effective from the field, if he can grab some rebounds, Jeff Green can easily pay off the salary, especially since he is getting the minutes. So I don't mind him in the mid-range. Hassan Whiteside is someone that burned me last slate. I played him pretty heavily. He started last game, only played 17 minutes, just 18 DraftKings points. Was a really disappointing game from Whiteside, but pretty much everybody from Portland sucked last game because they got the doors blown off of them. Lillard was bad for his price. McCollum was bad. Nurkic was okay, but still didn't really pay off his price. I don't know what to expect from Portland today. Like I said, I'm just going to play these guys and hope the game stays close. If it does stay close, I think someone like Whiteside could definitely, smash at his salary. He's $4,900. That's a price tag that he can easily pay off now that he is starting. Him starting isn't great for his production because playing alongside Nurkic, he's not going to be as productive. But like I've said throughout this video, Lillard is going to be out for Portland, so that is a high-usage player you're taking off the floor. Maybe without Lillard, you see Whiteside get a few more looks at the basket, able to maybe take a few more shots, get a little bit more usage. I still like Whiteside a lot here. I think he plays about 26 to 28 minutes if the game stays close and as long as he isn't in foul trouble. And in 26, 28 minutes, we can easily get 30 DraftKings points from Whiteside, which is going to be good for his salary. So on DraftKings, as a value center, I do like Whiteside quite a bit at $4,900. And then on Yahoo, if you want to play him over there, $17, I have no problems with that. Jeff Green, $16, he also looks pretty good too. But as you can see, guys, I'm going to be pretty heavy on Portland. Right now in the DraftKings core, I got 3 guys in there. On the Yahoo core, I got 4 guys from Portland. I mean, if this game stays close, I think there's going to be guys you want to have. If you think the game blows out, maybe you fade these guys. Maybe you only play like Simons and then just not play anyone else. I think even in a blowout, Simons can still be good. Obviously, McCollum, Nurkic, those guys are going to take a huge hit, though, if the game blows out. But I'm just going to be all over this game, man. I'm going to have a ton of plays here. Most of my lineups are going to have at least 3 to 4 players from this game. Definitely a game I want to load up on and just hope it stays close because I think it's going to be a game you want to get exposure to. But yeah, I think we covered it all, guys, for this 3-game slate for Saturday. I hope you did enjoy the video. I think we broke everything down. Thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button before we get out of here. Hit the subscribe button as well. Click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. And if you have not yet, you can check out my exclusive content on Patreon. That's linked down below in the description. If you really enjoy these videos and you want to get more content from me, you can check out the Patreon link down below. Also, be sure to give me a follow on Twitter. That's linked down below in the description as well. But yeah, guys, best of luck. I really appreciate you watching the video. I hope you did enjoy, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.